Hey, what's going on, scholars? It's your professor here, Enlightened Enlisted, and the guys over at Darkflow must be watching some of my videos because we have some big updates coming to Berlin. So we just had a news release moments ago that is talking about a new game mode and a new map here in the Berlin campaign. But first off, previous generation consoles, you are now able to play the Battle of Berlin, so we welcome you to the second best campaign in the game. You are going to find yourself loving the street fighting and looking at some of the most iconic scenes for the final days of World War II in Europe. Before I get into the new game mode, those of you that have been a part of the channel for a while know that I did a video way back 7 months ago about my initial thoughts of the campaign through a historical lens. And my biggest criticism of the campaign as a historian was it was missing the most important piece of the Battle of Berlin. Now, most of you are going to think it is the storming of the Reichschancellery, but actually it's the Battle of Seelow Heights. Now, the Battle of Seelow Heights is significant because it was the last defensive position the Germans could have held in order to keep the Reds out of the capital of the Reich. So important was this battle that even Dr. Goebbels went to visit frontline troops in order to boost morale, knowing this was the last hope in order to save the city of Berlin. The developers over at Darkflow must have recognized the significance of this battle because they are adding this as a new map into the rotation of Berlin campaign maps. Now, it looks like they're putting a lot of effort into this map because they are talking about adding secondary objectives. Now, if you're not familiar with what the secondary objectives are, that is something that you would see in the map of Airfield on the Normandy campaign when you shoot the barrage balloons. Now, we don't have any indication on what those secondary objectives could be in this map, but I hope that they are more ground-based instead of the air that we saw on the Airfield map. Now, this leads me into the biggest announcement of today, and that is the fact that we have a new game mode involving an armored train. Historically, an armored train did participate in the Battle of Seelow Heights, and the news release says their model is based on a real blueprint. It is not the actual blueprint of the train used at the battle, however. The train in game's configuration is the Panzerzug Type BP-42, which are very common on the Eastern Front. These armored trains would be equipped with an array of armaments, including artillery and flak guns. The train that was used at Seelow Heights was an armored engine with 5 flatbed train cars. On those flatbeds were Panzer IVs that had no fuel. What that train would do is it would go back and forth between the station at Seelow Heights, and those panzers would fire on the move. But honestly, I'm okay with the liberty the devs have taken because the train looks absolutely awesome in game. In the new game mode, you are basically going to be doing escort, defense, or attack. What I mean by that is the attacking team is going to be escorting the armored train to a final point, but it can be blocked by the defending team. How I understand this from this release is that the invasion points are going to be turned into platforms. If you have more people on the platforms, the train will move. If you don't, the train will stay put. Now the defending team's going to have a hard time because that armored train has a full array of armaments for it to use as they push forward. Now, there was no information in the release whether or not you're going to be able to destroy the armaments of that armored train, but looking at the pictures, you can see a lot of flat surfaces on it, so I'm wondering if an engineer can build some cheeky defensive structures. What do you guys think? Are you looking forward to playing this new mode, and are you happy to see the Seelow Heights added to the game? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're down there, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Let my voice be your voice as we grow the enlisted community, and until next time, scholars, hit those books and hit those bottles. Cheers.